We've all seen the cartoons. A red-skinned man with a pitchfork, a lake of fire, and eternal torture in a giant cave. But what if I told you? In the original ancient texts, hell isn't just one place. It's a complex, terrifying geography of different dimensions, each with its own purpose, its own prisoners, and its own atmosphere. From the silent gray mists of Sheol to the crushing, eternal chains of Tartarus, most of what you think you know about the afterlife is a mix of mistranslations and medieval poetry. Today, we are descending through the 7 layers of the biblical underworld to uncover what is actually waiting in the abyss. Our journey begins in the Old Testament. Before there was a concept of heaven and hell as we know it, there was Sheol. In ancient Hebrew thought, Sheol was the common grave of all mankind. It didn't matter if you were a king or a beggar, a saint or a sinner, everyone went to the silence of the dust. It wasn't described as a place of fire, but as a place of nothingness. A shadowy existence where the dead know nothing. But even in this gray wasteland, there was a divide. Ancient traditions speak of a place called the Bosom of Abraham, a section of Sheol where the righteous rested in comfort, separated from the wicked by a great uncrossable chasm. It was the waiting room of the soul. As the Bible moved into the New Testament, Sheol became Hades. While the names are often swapped, Hades brought a new, more intense imagery. This is where we begin to see the intermediate state. In the famous story of the rich man and Lazarus, Jesus describes Hades as a place of torment and thirst. It is a prison for the soul, a place where the consciousness survives death to face the reality of its choices. But Hades isn't permanent. According to the book of Revelation, Hades is merely a temporary holding cell. At the end of time, Hades itself will be forced to give up its dead before it is destroyed forever. Now we go deeper, to a place so dark, it isn't even meant for humans. This is Tartarus. The Apostle Peter mentions this place specifically as the prison for the angels who sinned. These are the watchers we've talked about, the celestial beings who abandoned their posts in heaven to corrupt the earth. Tartarus is described as gloomy dungeons or pits of nether gloom. It is the maximum security wing of the universe. Here, the most powerful fallen entities are chained in everlasting bonds, waiting for the day of judgment. If you ever wondered where the demons come from, many ancient traditions believe their leaders are still locked away right here, in the crushing pressure of the abyss. When Jesus spoke of hellfire, he almost always used the word Gehenna. But to his listeners, Gehenna wasn't a myth. It was a real place they could see with their own eyes. The Valley of Hinnom, or Gehenna, was a literal valley outside the walls of Jerusalem. It had a dark history of child sacrifice to the god Moloch, and by Jesus' time, it had become the city's smoldering trash heap. The fires never went out, and the worms never died. Jesus used this horrific, stinking landscape as a physical metaphor for spiritual destruction. Gehenna represents the total unmaking of a soul. It is the place where everything that refuses to align with God's goodness is finally discarded. Finally, we reach the end, the lake of fire. In the book of Revelation, this is the second death. It is important to note, the lake of fire is not Hades, and it is not Sheol. In fact, the Bible says that death and Hades are eventually thrown into the lake of fire. This is the final destination for the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. It is described as a place of eternal consequence, a cosmic reset, where evil is finally and permanently quarantined from the new creation. It is the most terrifying imagery in the entire Bible, because it represents the point of no return. So, is hell a cave with a man in a red suit? No. The biblical reality is far more complex. It is a series of dimensions designed to handle the weight of sin, the rebellion of angels, and the finality of justice. But the most famous verse in the Bible wasn't written to scare us with these depths. It was written to offer a way out. The descent into the abyss is a journey no one is forced to take. If you enjoyed this deep dive into biblical mythology, hit the like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, Which of these layers did you find the most haunting? Thanks for watching.